Manitoba and Saskatchewan they're in it for real. It's wildfire season out there. It has kicked off. Province-wide state of emergency has been declared in Manitoba. Thousands there have been forced to flee their communities, with more than 20 fires burning. In northern Saskatchewan, evacuations have been ordered for more than 10. For more on the current situation on the prairies and as well as wildfires burning in eastern Canada, we're joined by Ken McMullen. Ken is president of the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs and the fire chief of Red Deer. Ken, we have to stop meeting like this.
I would think the same. Well, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. What is the latest on the wildfires there in Manitoba and northern Saskatchewan?
Well, certainly, and please allow me to give our thoughts and prayers to all those evacuees. Hopefully they're listening, know that you're in our thoughts and prayers on behalf of all fire chiefs. We know how difficult these times are for you, and we're doing our best working with our colleagues in wildfire to get these conditions under control as soon as we possibly can. At the moment, we're seeing about 164 active wildfires all across Canada. There is no province or territory, with the exception of Prince Edward Island, that doesn't have some sort of fire in their communities. But again, knowing very well that some communities are being impacted more so than others, and in particular, some populations are being impacted more so than others, mainly those in Manitoba. And here in Alberta, we seem to be having the increase on evacuations over the last 24 hours.
And we're still in May.
We are still in May.
Yeah.
This is unfortunate. I think that what pains me the most is that I think that this was somewhat predictable. We saw the wildfire seasons of 23 and 24, and we've been telling folks that this was likely coming, and it did come, but probably a little sooner than we had wanted or expected.
Is there anything at all that can be done? I know we've talked about preparation before, and that unfortunately, that you can build in a certain way. You can build homes to give yourself a better chance, I guess, should one of these monsters come for your community. But is there any other way to prepare, any preventive measures that could be taken?
Yeah, there's so much to that question, and I'll probably break it down into a couple points. And first and foremost, I think at the highest level here in Canada, the need of a national fire administration is paramount. It has to be there. We can't talk about when, we have to talk about now. The reality is, G7 is coming. There's a lot happening. Canada is the only country at that G7 that currently does not have a role as a national fire administration within their government. Now, we know that it's not going to be perfect. Our neighbors in the United States, they established their fire administration in 1975. It took them 50 years to get where they're at today. We don't need that. We need something today, a position or positions within government to help today to have these conversations. We struggle with interprovincial territorial sharing of resources. We struggle with the standard of training that's given to municipal firefighters across this country. That is one thing that we can do. You talked about what can others do and how can we help prepare ourselves. The Fire Smart principles, those are very, very easily followed examples of things that homeowners can do to start to reduce the risk of threat to their own property. Let's remove the debris in and around our properties. Let's look for overhanging branches to see if we can reduce the risk of fires. And then internally, do we have a 72-hour kit? Do we have all of our important documents, our medications, our paperwork ready if we are asked to evacuate? And let's not forget about our pets. What are we going to do about those pets or livestock? Now's the time to have that conversation, not at the moment after a alert or evacuation order has been put in place.
You mentioned the United States and their kind of national fire response program or body. Are there other countries, like does Australia have one? Are there other, because you say we don't have 50 years, these things, obviously, this is where we're at now. Are there models we can look at and say, okay, we don't have to build it up over 50 years like the United States did. These are working in these other countries. Let's borrow from that.
By all means, we have certainly shared other models. United Kingdom is one, Australia is one, United States, New Zealand, all have some sort of positions. We have said, and we've stated time and time again, we don't need to get it perfect, but we need to get it started. And we are willing and able to work with any sitting government to make this happen. We're nonpartisan. We're practical in the fire service. We in October, November, when we saw the writing on the wall of an election and the possibilities of a new party government, we talked to all sitting government, those that would meet with the chiefs. And the challenge is nobody said it was a bad idea. The problem is nobody has moved it across the finish line, and that's what we need right now as a champion, to move it across the finish line, and we're hoping that this new sitting government, as of yesterday, is ready, willing, and able to do that for us.
Do you get a sense, Ken, obviously we have heard a lot, typically in the trade or the economic contexts, but a lot about talk, East-West cooperation, barriers dropping, whether it's, doctors, electricians being able to move back and forth, trade barriers, do you get a sense that this might be the time to jump on this and just really drive it home?
Yeah, there's been so many times that I have said this is the time. It kind of
gets past the time.
Past the time. We know, we appreciate and acknowledge that there's a lot of pressures on our government. We know about affordable housing and build more footprint of homes in our country, but we're going to do that as safely as we can, and that's the lens that the fire service is going to bring to it. We know about emerging technologies and things like lithium-ion battery. We as the fire service want to be at that table to help make sure we do that safely. The fire industry and the wildfire impacts to our community is top of the list as we are at the moment. The reality is that sometimes we're forgetting in January the dedication and commitment that we have in June or July in the midst of fire season. We can't let that happen. We need to remember top of mind every day that these issues that we're facing today should have and could have been talked about in January.
Are you concerned about the next few months?
I'd have to be honest and say yes. I don't want to be fear-mongering, but the reality is when we're seeing the type of growth of fires, we are seeing that what we saw in 23 repeated in 24, and in 24 we're seeing a repeat in 25. Folks, this isn't sustainable. Our country, our people, our firefighters cannot do this every year for another 2, 3, 4 years. We have to be better and prepared differently than we are today.
And Ken, obviously you're not speaking to people, on the ground from coast to coast, but from what you know, again, as you say, these years have come one after the other. I'm assuming that it's the same people fighting these fires. They must be exhausted.
They're absolutely exhausted. Our hats go off to all men and women involved. And again, there's two very distinct groups. We have our colleagues in wildland firefighting, those that are trained, that live and work in our trade communities. We also have our municipal firefighters that the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs have direct relationship with. 126,000 firefighters in this country. 86,000 of those are volunteer. We are asking men and women to stop their day-to-day duties, walk away from their businesses, shut the doors on their own businesses, walk away from their parental duties or whatever it happens to be. Those are not sustainable for weeks and months at a time, year after year. We are going to lose and continue to lose firefighters in this country. We need to do better.
Ken McMullen, thank you for this.
As always, I appreciate our conversations. I know the day will come where we're talking about more successes and less obstacles. But until then, thank you for you and your listeners. Please stay safe.
Thank you, Ken. Ken McMullen is president of the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs and fire chief in Red Deer, Alberta.